Welcome back, folks. We're halfway through our day today. We've got 8 of the top teams in the world here. They're competing for the over a $1 million prize purse, as well as the championship title of the very first ECS champions. Now, we've changed it up a little bit. Got rid of Fifth Lauren. He's got other things to do. We've kicked him out. His predictions were bad. Everything about him was bad. He followed Yanko the whole time, except for that one time. But
how's that bad?
Well, because he didn't think of himself. You know, not bad for you. Now we're joined by a guy I've known for a very, very long time. He used to play on my team EG. We were just giggling about the days of fruit baskets and franchise players. Lurpus, how are you, buddy? Welcome to the stream.
Good, and I just like to point out the irony of me replacing Fifth Lauren now on the stream for those who missed it. But we'll continue.
Oh, perfect. It's already started. There is a reason we don't have you here together. So let's get right into this. We're now going into Group B. Again, so if you're just joining us, we finished out Group A. LG has moved forward. G2 and Liquid are still in it. They got to play downstairs. And NiP and G2 will play first and then see who plays Liquid. So in Group B, Astralis TSM is this match, and then it's Cloud9 Fnatic, and then same concept. We will play the winners match tonight of those two teams. So starting with you, Tommy, let's kind of get into this kind of score pregame report. It's brought to you by the Score Esports. Obviously, it's an amazing app for all your esports news, especially the LCS. But again, if you're into, not LCS for sure they cover, but also ECS and any other esport, these guys are doing scores, stats, all that kind of stuff on all your mobile devices. So if you're an Apple guy or gal or an Android guy, all covered there. So now let's get into it. Rosters right off the bat. Astralis, we're going to have you walk us through these guys, Tommy.
Sure. So first of all, Device is obviously their franchise player, if you were. He's the superstar who's always going to have to carry a larger load than everybody else on the team. Getting a little help now from Kjærbye, the guy on the far right who recently joined. Probably the second best Danish player right now. In current form, might even be a top 10 player in the world. Incredibly good. He's a rifler, more aggressive than Device, so they sort of fit together well. dupreeh is the entry fragger of the team, so he's sort of like Kjærbye on steroids from that perspective. Xyp9x, Lurker, he's a really good clutch player. He actually was a quasi-star back in Fnatic in 2013, and he's sort of taken a little step back in terms of limelight, but he's actually a very good player, sort of like an overqualified guy in his role, which makes him so good at it. karrigan, obviously, the team's in-game leader. Used to be a star-level opper back in the days in 1.6, at the very tail end of 1.6 when he was playing for Mousesports and Fnatic. In CSGO, hasn't regained the same kind of form, but he's turned into a very, very good in-game leader. They still haven't quite gotten over the hump, even with him and even with Kjærbye. Still struggle in those semifinals, as they always have.
Cursed for sure.
We'll see. Maybe London will be different.
And again, the other side of the coin, I mean, this is the tale of two teams. Astralis is number 5 in the world based on Half-Life TV, and I imagine anyone else, Thorin's rankings, everybody else would be pretty close to that. And an unranked TSM, at least out of the top 20. I don't know where you'd put them after that. And again, North America versus one of the top teams.
Here we have TSM and ex-TSM, Scott.
Yes.
Seeing as how the Astralis players before they founded their own org were playing for TSM, and as you said, you put Astralis on 5th place and TSM nowhere on the map. Well, for the org, maybe switching those two teams wasn't exactly what they hoped for initially, but this team actually is pretty interesting to me personally, because I feel that Twistzz and Sick are two of maybe 4 or 5 players that I really think are going to be the next stars of the NA scene. And Twistzz, obviously, because he's only 16 as well, and because of that he wasn't able to participate in E-League with his team. They had Cadian as a stand-in, but I really think that what they can expect from this tournament is to gain experience and playing against the top dogs. They do have 2 experienced players themselves in FNS and SEMPHIS. Sure, maybe not as successful result-wise within their respective teams before, but certainly they've gathered experience on the international scene. I mean, SEMPHIS was the player who was in the semi-final at the first major with Complexity, so definitely has a lot that he can transfer over to the younger players.
And we picked, yesterday we picked 2 players to watch, and we picked the new guy, Kjærbye, and Twistzz. So let's talk about those 2 guys in particular. You kind of started with Kjærbye. Let's talk about him a little more.
Yeah, so Kjærbye's basically, he's 18, so he's very young, presumably still developing. Now, we'll get to this subject some other time on whether young age means you still are going to develop a lot more from that point on, but He's a very good rifler. He's one of the rare guys who rarely ever uses any other guns. He's basically just full-out rifler, very aggressive, which helps them on their terrorist sides. Their superstar device is fairly passive, as I said, so they sort of need a little extra aggressiveness from elsewhere. Fans probably know Kjærbye best from that one highlight clip against Navi on Train from earlier this year, and he really was the guy who made Dignitas go in the first months of the year. We saw as soon as he started playing slightly worse, even with Config stepping up, the team just didn't have it anymore. So he's sort of he's an interesting character because he really does have the potential to potentially even become a top 3, top 5 player in the world. And in that case, you have 2 of those guys with him and Device on the team, and then there really is no ceiling. So it's going to be extremely interesting to see how he develops now that he's finally playing in a legitimate top team and actually gets to attend all these tournaments all the time.
And the other side of the coin, again, Twistzz.
Yes, again, a really young player, as we just mentioned, and I think TSM is his first, like, really, you know, internationally competitive team, which makes sense considering how young he is. And I can't really say that he's been the carry for the team, but he's been definitely putting up big numbers. And I feel that for them, it's about getting experience and trying to build more as a team, because the problem they have is not that they don't have talent on their team. Individually, sure, maybe not the talent to match Astralis, of course, but it's about figuring things out as a team, being able to adjust, because they still have those flaws that NA teams have, being undisciplined, reckless in their play, over-aggressive with their peaking at times.
Anything to add to that?
I think that's about it. And it's just a minor point, I guess, that obviously Twistzz wasn't allowed to play at E-League, and TSM still did very well there. They did far better than I could have expected. I would assume the same for you. So sort of puts almost unfair pressure on him here. Because if you look at the scores and they played 13, 16, 12, 16 games against teams like Fnatic, he's like, well, you know, they get a better player back, the guy they've practiced with. Doesn't really work that way in reality, but it is interesting to see how he plays. He's extremely young. I mean, we say Kjærbye's young, but he's 18. Like, this guy's 16. He's
very young. All right, well, let's go through the bans. Again, to remind you folks at home, there are no picks in this setup. It's all bans. So they'll do a coin flip, the 2 captains. The winner of the coin flip decides if they want the first ban or if they want to save the last ban, because they'll end up with 2 maps. And you can see it's already started. Looks like TSM has either been given the first ban or they won the toss. And walk us through this.
Yeah, well, in the beginning, it's pretty straightforward. The teams banning out maps that they really don't want to play. For Astralis, maybe they would like to try, seeing as TSM is the weaker team, maybe they want to try and play a map that they want to practice for the major, even because Cash is a map they used to play. We see that traditionally, we all know Astralis never played Cobblestone, but with the addition of Kjærbye, they actually started practicing it, and we even saw them leave it in the game against NIP.
And that makes sense, right? Because Dignitas with Kjærbye really was the best Cobble team at one point, even better than Fnatic, all these guys. So not only is he bringing in his individual skill on the map, but he definitely has some of the tricks up his sleeve from the time of playing with MSL. So looks sure to see Astralis will be implementing some of that.
Nuke or Cobble coming our way, right? Am I looking at this? I am. Okay, so they get rid of Nuke. It's going to be Cobble.
Seems like Astralis definitely wants to practice this map at this point, because when you look at it, it's a best of 1. There's definitely upset potential, and you know, even though they started playing Cobble, you really could play a different map other than that. If you're really just trying to win, I do feel that's the case here. They want to get to practice it in an offline environment.
Yeah. And it is a map that you would think would suit this roster very well, because they do have a couple operas. They have a passive opera, karrigan, you can just kind of slot wherever you need. You have a Device playing terrorist side, and you have multiple aggressive riflers, which you sort of need in like the Apex side role, where you take over the whole towards A side.
What I'm interested to see here actually is, did they switch things up on their CT side? Because in that game against NIP at DreamHack Summer, towards the end of the game, it was really karrigan getting abused in that drop zone. I mean, he had a really bad game. It's something that can, you know, it happens every now and then. A player just has a bad game, but you could see them even in that game. They tried moving him to a different position, getting Kjærbye toward drop, moving Device to B from A. So maybe they want to practice that now. An
interesting note, looking at these guys on Cobble, they never played each other, so there's no head-to-head on anything. But Cobblestone is a bad map for both of them. Astralis is 0-2 in the last 3 months playing it, and TSM is 7-8. So neither of them have a winning record.
Luminosity had only one map loss in the online part of ECS, and that was to TSM on Cobblestone, which was pretty amazing when it happened.
Yeah.
But
So, and again, that's probably not going to matter much at this particular matchup, but essentially it's not a good map for either, really, on paper.
Yeah, though, I mean, I've always criticized the map statistics because they are sort of skewed by if you're Fnatic, your cash stats might actually not be that amazing because no one wants to play you on it.
Sure.
So, you know, there's other factors to consider. But like, I guess you said that the win from TSM against Luminosity, even though Luminosity have struggled on couple, still that was, I mean, that sort of was like a pre-showing of what they might be capable of, only we all ignored it before E-League because it just seemed like an outlier.
yeah.
And predictions.
Yeah, you have to go with Astralis, no matter the map. But I'm interested to see what TSM will bring here. They've had a lot of close games, as Tommy pointed out. So I don't expect this to be a blowout.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Okay.
I also think that Astralis are not really going to be giving it their 110%. I mean, they'll play well, but you know, you're not pushing the envelope in the group stage games. You want to sort of get comfortable. You want to play, and that's usually when the quote-unquote weaker teams sort of get in the game a little bit, and that's also partly why I think it's not going to be like a 16-2 game.
And just a quick note also, what we saw in the Liquid game is that Cobble, seeing as how the map is structured, there's not a lot you can do on CT side to apply pressure. So for a team like TSM, an underdog, they can pretty much do what they want on their T side, you know, what they're prepared for, what they practice. So it might be a silver lining for them as well.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. That's going to do it for us at the desk. And we've swapped out our casting pair as well. Now the rest of the day is going to be brought to you by Henry G and Saticus. Gentlemen, it is all yours.
Yes, thank you so much. And yes, that is pretty much our emoji. I think we actually get royalties on it now. Henry, how are you?
Very well. Bittersweet day here today in London. We've got a beautiful weather, great CS, but obvious political movement's not really working in our favor. I'd like to point out, Matt actually told me today he shaved off that magnificent beard in protest of the decision. So thank you for joining us and showing some solidarity.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Unfortunately, it doesn't really account for much. And the amount of hair loss equals the amount of the economy that you guys have lost.
Indeed,
but
it all works.
We are getting into it. TSM versus Astralis. So Astralis going against their former organization. And it's on Cobblestone. Now, one of the things interestingly to talk about is we just saw Astralis, again, unable to make it through to a final at DreamHack Summer. And one of the things that kind of came to mind after that game, as we get into this pistol round, was karrigan. And I want to talk a little bit more about that when we get some time, because bringing in a new player, there's a lot of different ways to do it. And I kind of like the philosophy Astralis has gone to in doing so. But 4 sets of armor. FNS is going to be, FNS, the only one with nades at this point. He's got the smoke and a flash. There's a decoy and automatic, but I don't really consider that to be a viable nade in most situations, Henry.
Well, we'll see.
There are clever tactics for it.
Well, we'll see what happens here. It's going to be forced as well, like you said, and the bomb making its way towards B. Looks like a drop-down approach coming in. A B split for sure. karrigan ready for the nose. He's got that silent USP. Looking for the first kill here. First blood yet to be drawn. The damage inflicted the early though.
karrigan is playing on this new stairwell, but Six made it inside of the site to take down Kjærbye. Puts a lot of pressure on Smix as they lose karrigan on the stairwell. Response from Device and dupreeh. Double D stepping up already. Can't quite tap away to catch the retreating player that is Sick. Now they'll get him, but bomb's gone down. And this is where the choice, the 5 armor choice of the CT side starts to play effect, because they have to get toward this bomb relatively quick. That will help as Device hits the shot bar off. Twistzz, the young player on TSM, too young even for the E-League, can't manage to land it. So they'll get the full 10-second defuse, and Astralis will pick up the first round.
What was interesting there, Device is using the unsilenced USP. That goes against...
It's my tactic as well.
Yeah, is that what you... Yes. I remember what you called it at the last tournament. I don't think we should mention that here, but...
Okay.
Yeah, that's...
Good thing you said we shouldn't.
That's a weird decision. Maybe he's trying to change the curve a little bit there. Interesting, but there it is. It looked like a promising start there from TSM at the start of the round. Get towards that B area, get the first 2 kills. The bomb went down as well, but a great retake from dupreeh and Device. Yeah, they had shots towards our platform area.
We do have a pause, which I like this slowed down replay sound. That's kind of dramatic. Makes me think there's probably a technical issue, which actually does give me a good opportunity. I guess we'll do it now to talk about this karrigan thing. So one of the things after DreamHack Summer that karrigan said was he was very disappointed with his own personal performance. Taking someone out of a roster, especially Kjaerbye, who was playing various different positions. He was still the AWP on Dust 2. It obviously meant they had a very specific role to fill, but they didn't necessarily want to fill that role. So how does Kjærbye get fitted in? And a lot of teams, what they do, and I look at Envious and I think that they're guilty of this, is they bring in a new player and they think that they're so established that he has to fit the role of the player that's left.
Sure.
And that doesn't work because in the case of Envious, they took Devil, who is normally a lurk player and a very aggressive player, and put him in a support role, which he had no idea how to accomplish.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. We saw Devil like really struggle coming to that Envious lineup because he's forced into roles he's not used to. I think if you're to bring someone into the lineup, you have, like Body has been, they based their team around him in G2, right? And actually has had great results.
And that's exactly the counter argument. And this is kind of something that I agree with, and something that, you know, look, even when I wasn't in CS, something that you have to subscribe to as an in-game leader is you first have to get used to the player being come in. He's getting used to 4 people. You only have to get used to 1. So when G2 brought in Body, they said, we're going to pug with you, we're going to get used to this, you play you, we'll learn you, and then we'll adjust it once we're all comfortable.
Sure.
And I think that's the better way of doing things. So when Astralis didn't make the semifinal, or didn't make the final at DreamHack Summer, karrigan took a lot of the blame for it, and he stepped up and accepted that blame. But if you look at this, the current infrastructure of this team right now, karrigan is the one that's actually had to give Kjærbye the roles that he plays, because it's a lot of the same positions that karrigan plays. So he's the one that's actually going through more adjustment than even Kjærbye in this
There's
sense.
a lot on his play right now, right? Obviously, they're coming up to the major, they're going to have to use Glaive instead of Kjærbye, so it's like there's a lot going on in his mind. He's having to adjust a lot of different things and work out his battle strategy going forward. He obviously had a poor tournament at DreamHack. You could see we spoke to him a lot in the green room and stuff like that. You could tell he just wasn't in a good place, and he had a horrible performance in the semi-final. But it happens. Every player has those bad results, and it will be a case of how you can bounce back from it, not how you can think about how badly it went.
And that's just it. Again, I think they're taking the right philosophy in letting Kjærbye get used to the team as much as they're used to him, and rather than just forcing him into a position. So I think that in the long term, it's the right call for them.
Well, here we go. We're going to the second round here, and interesting enough, after getting the bomb down, TSM are going for the full buy here in a second. Most teams will subscribe to the mentality of getting the AKs on the third. We have got 1K AK purchased here. It's going to be Tech9 joining him as well. dupreeh can get first contact here, takes down SEMPHIS, but a reply comes in. Twistzz takes him down, 4-4, and the CT's starting to rotate now. You can see Device was a little bit more committed there, and he knows the aggression is towards that side of the area.
And this push up toward Long has at least cleared out some territory for them to work with. The MP9 to complement the AK that Sick has with armor. I mean, that's the big thing here. He's got armor, he's got decent nades. Yeah,
well, they have a chance to fully execute here. They've got control long A. You can see Kjærbye now trying to gain some real estate, get some information for his team. Are they going towards the A side?
And that smoke may actually serve to give him away because they know that's thrown from the bottom of middle. He still manages to find two big kills. The AK still in play, but the MP9 in return only took him down to 10 HP. Bomb's been dropped in the process. Sick is going to wait for an additional push potentially out toward Long, but CT's being smart. Astralis knowing they've got a decent lead in this round now, there's no sense giving it away.
Yeah, that's really good work from Kjærbye there. Obviously the MP9 not really effective against armored players there, but he makes it work. FNS coming in with the Tech9 though, surely going to be punished for this at that point. There it is, Device finishes him off, just going to be Sick remaining now. He has got a smoke and an AK in hand, still an opportunity to do something with it. He can get a bomb down and be fantastic. That's find his first kill, which he does, takes out karrigan, but the remaining CTs do know exactly where he is there. A lot of work to do, but that's a great start. 1-on-1 now against ZipX.
Bomb's going to go down. This is actually well pulled back by Sick. They've got the great chance here. AK's got the advantage well in terms of firepower and that there's no kit. So this is actually TSM's to steal, and Sick is going to do exactly that. Takes down ZipX.
The youngster there, what a performance that is in that round. They lose the first 3 kills, and then he comes in with the AK, 3 versus 1. I feel like Astralis maybe biting off more than they can chew in those 1v1 situations. Once they establish where he was, just need to work together. As karrigan goes down first, and you thought they'd win this situation, but you can't take anything away from Sick there. All headshots, clutches around. It's massive for his team. There's going to be a force fire response from Astralis here. So they've gone for Max 7, MP9, and some upgraded pistols as well. They've got to have similar results. They don't really have the firepower to work on. This is the Max 7, one of those weapons that can be very effective on Cobble, but let's see what they can do with this. It's going to be a default, of course, from TSM. The problem is for TSM, they're famed for losing these kind of rounds. Against Andy-Ecos, they seem to go all in on certain situations without gaining information first. It's very important against the pistols and the slightly upgraded weapons. You need to work together, work the picks, get them into whether there's a stack going on, and then you make your next move. The TSM, one of those teams, especially online, we were casting the ECS League, I'm sure you can remember, were sending me to despair at times.
Yes. Yes, there were moments where I was very concerned for your mental state.
Yeah, it was late.
Most days I'm concerned for your mental state, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Well, then it's going to be a slow default round. You can see they're leaving one player towards the top and middle. He'll be just patrolling any rotation from the CTs. And they still have smokes and flashbangs to play with as well. This should be a clean round for TSM. Should be, being the operative statement there. But here we go, ZipX using those new steps. And with TSM and Molotov, that's the area they probably want to be using that and then gain some control, execute together, making sure they're trading effectively.
So a good chance for TSM to build on this. Xyp9x again going to play this stairwell, so we haven't seen any fast timings. Remember, the timing of that stairwell, the positioning of that stairwell, timings don't change, so you can still beat the CT to that position, but with these slow rounds, Astralis is trying, especially with pistols, to put themselves there. Good fall away from Xyp9x as well, because that's the hard part. A Molotov forces you back. If you act upon it, you can get caught in the open, but he's got the headshot damage. He's made it all the way back inside of the site. FNS, he's finally going to pull around back because it starts off with 2 big kills from Astralis, and karrigan's followed that up. There's guns available in the drop room. They can't quite get to them. Kjærbye's got an MP9 now, bomb down, and it's Twistzz. 1 versus 2. Only 19 HP to work with. Again, no kits, but they've got a decent crossfire position to work with.
Oh, here we go then. Twistzz, 19 HP. Needs to be to the side together. There it is. Astralis win the round, and like I said, TSM do struggle with this. They had a huge advantage in terms of the firepower there. All the rifles and grenades required, but going into the bomb site, they were separated, segregated from each other. And they drop down an upper platform area, and Astralis will capitalize and bounce back there. It's going to be a back and forth economy game here, the battle of attrition. And I'm sure TSM will be forcing into this again. They've got decent money. You can see Six got $4,400 going to the next one, and here's the replay right now. Even though FNS got those 2 kills, just couldn't close it out. Good positioning there from the CTs, and we'll go into round number 4. Like I said, it's almost certain that TSM will force into this. They've got 3 AKs, 2 pistols, but Astralis a little bit better equipped for this time. They've got 5 rifles across the board, 2 defuse kits and grenades as well to hold them off. Another big round coming in.
So we'll see if these 3 AKs can manage. Aggressive buys early from TSM on bomb plants. Successful with the single AK purchase in round number 2. This time, a 300% increase. 200% increase, 300% total. You know what I mean. SEMPHIS is going to push up. Deagle, dupreeh's already forced back, so they will get a little bit more ground to work with, a little bit of evaluation going on over by drop as well, and they're going to swap guns around on that CT side based on that early damage on device. Right now, bomb's still over by B.
Well, at this point, it's about getting some map control here for the terrorist. Want to see if they can get control of long A and middle, but it's quite an aggressive setup here from the CTs. 2 towards A, and actually getting a little boost setup as well. I really like this. It's one of those positions that works tremendously well. Once or twice a half, you can get in there, get the first frag. You have the options to drop down as well. Good exit strategies are enabled. That's going to be device boosted up. Looking for the first kill, perfect with the silenced M4 as well. At this point, TSM haven't really made a move here. It looks like they will be opting to commit to the A side of the map. No smoke's really been given away just yet, but they are slowly getting control of long A.
Device has dropped down, though. They gave up on that boost. They smartly did leave dupreeh there to watch out at long, because that's the vulnerability position. The vulnerable position is watching out that long corner while also being exposed to lower middle, but Device seems to think that back toward the hut is the better position. Slight gap in the smoke. dupreeh going to look for footsteps. Right now, though, TSM taking their sweet time to make sure they clear out danger. Don't walk by and get completely flanked out by anyone who is waiting. And dupreeh inside stables. Good crosshair placement's going to find the first and second headshot. Bomb down. Third, not quite the same charm. But he's done some damage on the entry. It's just a 1-man advantage, but it's bought time, it's bought space. There's 14 seconds, and Device on the site is just going to wait for them to push in. Does turn back to find FNS, and then the bomb drop. That's the round. There's no way autimatic can get there in time, so they just need to stay alive. That might be an issue, though. Device, he's on 21. autimatic is subject to find him, and he does so. Thankfully, Xyp9x waits till the time expires to peek him back.
Yeah, great timing there on the 2 versus 1. I feel like TSM were just a little bit too controlled. They're trying to run the default, trying to get something working for them. And the time they got long A control, they were smoked out. Good utility usage there by Astralis, and this moment for me on the screen right now, this was the problem. Out 1 by 1, too easy for dupreeh at that point. He bought so much time. There was 25 seconds when they actually committed, and it was so obvious as well going on, and dupreeh bought them some time with those first 2 kills. The rotations come in, and Xyp9x denies them cash as well. It's the last player, autimatic. He doesn't get a single penny going into this one, so he's just got $300. And we go to round number 5. This should be pretty redundant. They've only got PT50s, no nades. They'll be sticking together, rushing middle. Device ready for the big spray down coming, and it looks like it's the first one. Actually, that's all he'll get. dupreeh coming in for the backstab break.
This is clever, yeah. dupreeh runs back around. He will find Sick, drops bomb. That, with the spread out positions, does mean that he could have been traded back, but good nade's going to find FNS after that early damage done. Rotation over, calm round. Astralis now go up to 4-1. And that was TSM's first full sit back to save, considering, again, the start, the bomb plants, the aggressive buys, but they do, due to the lost round bonus hitting 3, have the eligibility to bring out AKs again here. autimatic's going to be limited, though. It's just Deagle.
Yeah, he was the player left over, so he got no cash in the last round. So 4 AKs and a Deagle. The problem is for TSM, that's another issue they've always had, is controlling their economy, right? They never allow SEMPHIS to get in the AWP, it seems. A lot of games we cast on the line of these guys. That seems to be a massive problem. So he's obviously the backbone of the team, one of the more experienced players. They can get him on the AWP, that'd be fantastic. Aggressive face F from Device, using that smoke just to get some vision towards the top of middle, and takes down SEMPHIS, and now it's a 5-on-4. At this point, the CTs can fall back and allow TSM to make the next move. The problem is they haven't really got much utility to work with. Look at the positioning as well. Kjærbye boosted and dropped down, and he's ready to go. Just ton going in favor of Astralis right now, and TSM don't really have much map control as well. It's aggressive plays on all parts of the map here from the Danes, so they've got in a great position at this point. TSM in an uphill struggle.
Kjærbye with that boost as well. He won't hear Sick falling back. Sick smartly walks it. But again, Device so far forward with this AWP. He's looking toward the statue. Watch that lower position, that lower angle, because they've walked out the doorway from the stairs and connector. Smartly falls away from this. dupreeh caught in the corner. Flash going to try and let him get back across, but he's counter-flashed in turn, and they're going to push on this. They know he's here. Out from danger. It's an easy pickup, but Device close angle. It's only one. Again, he tries to come over to help. He's a little bit late. The AWP. It's only good for one. And now FNS can pick that up and turn it back. Flash out, doesn't matter. Preemptive strike on karrigan, who gets toward the balcony, and it's 3 men versus the 2 of Astralis. Kjærbye might have the best chance at this. That flash over, though, that may have been spotted, not quite. Twistzz didn't turn fast enough. The player at Stables may still have a read on this. They definitely know now with that nade being flung toward. But they're taking their time. Kits on both. They can do so. They can try and push out Sick. If they had a Molotov, it'd be so easy, especially for Kjærbye, to push him back out to the player at the balcony, but they haven't done so. They just don't have the utility to work with, and Sick hits the shot on Xyp9x. Kjærbye needs to make the decision right now.
I don't think he really has much to make. Gets the first kill with time ticking away. At this point, just up to Sick. Stay alive as long as possible. I don't think there's going to be time to defuse at this point and find the kill. So it's going to be a round going in favor of TSM. Good reactive play from them. We'll see if Kjærbye can get a souvenir kill there, which he does. Just about survives the explosion as well. So you get 3 kills, but that's a good round for TSM to pick up there. They lost the first pick after Device faced towards the top of middle there. But as soon as they established dupreeh was isolated towards long A, they attacked. They got a good mid-round call, and it wasn't so much a set piece or a strategy they did there. They got some information and reacted to it straight away. Splitting between Danger and Side Alley, making him go down, and Device tried to get the refrag in. Didn't really work out for him. And FNS, decent play after picked up the AWP as well. Get the bomb down and just wasted as much time as possible. Really nice stuff there. So TSM finally arriving in this game. It's going to be 4-2. And actually have broken the economy somewhat of Astralis here as well. You can see there's 2 Famases, an M4. There is an AWP on Device, but dupreeh just in that deagle is a fast B play coming in as well, trying to take over drop down room.
Kjærbye has to fall away from it, goes for the fast nade in case they go down, but they hold up momentarily, and that means the nade, well, it's effectively redundant. Kjærbye back down inside the cranny behind the tree. Go on this, that's aggressive. Single flash for the first one. Second one's going to give him position to do so. Check the corner, but Twistzz was looking into it the whole time. He reads it perfectly, and FNS catches off karrigan going in the back window as well as dupreeh. So it's all on Xyp9x. He has to be the one to make the play. And we know that Chicken Coop's often checked. SEMPHIS is going to run toward it. He has to confront, and SEMPHIS actually just straight up wins the duel. So Device is on the save. He's found autimatic, who's already gone hunting, but that does give away his position. Bomb's going to go down.
It's quite interesting you say it's obviously commonly checked, but it's still a position that seems to post figures every single time. It's if you can get your timings right and actually face when the bomb's going down, you can cause some sort of chaos there, but that's a really decent shot from SEMPHIS. That secured the round. Obviously, Device will be saving the AWP at this point, trying to get as far away from the terrorists as possible, but that should break the economy of Astralis now. But if they allow a Device to keep it absorbed, Cobbles is one of those maps. If you have a world-class AWP like Device, who can actually just go anywhere on the map at the start and look for that first pick, it can start to crumble. So they need to be very careful here. Did they decide to try and hunt him and try and make sure? Oh, okay, yeah, they will. So Sick goes down first. He's already in position now, but I think at this point you probably just want to leave him alone. You're not going to get the kill here. As he is in the Rapunzel tower. The TSM swarming towards drop down there, splitting towards A. Making things worth their while, but it's going to be karrigan struggling once more. He's on 1 for 6 right now, Matt. We discussed this in the pre-game. He's having a rough time at DreamHack Open.
Yeah.
And against TSM, you'd assume Astralis, this would be a given going against them. They don't normally struggle against the lower-end teams. It's always in that semi-finals, you talk about that choke aspect, but they seem to always ruin the teams, especially outside the top 20. That would be a pretty accurate statement, I would say. But we're going to round number 8. Like I said, the AWP in Device's hands. If we can keep it on Device and see where he's going, that would be interesting to see if he can work that first pick. And he's going to be towards B, so this could be something, you know, he's isolated there by himself, rest of his teammates on A, but let's see what he can do here.
Device forced back by the first flash. Molotov, so again, being thrown by TSM to cover that stairwell position. Still the terrorist teams putting up tension on it. They have to. It's a slight adjustment. Utility can cover the cost. Device looking for the shot. Still can't find it. Watch the inside of this smoke. Very aggressive from Twistzz. He manages to find one. karrigan will pull it back, but it puts the pressure on the Device again. He's the only gun that saved AWP, and with so many smokes up, he's caught out of position, and worse still, Kjærbye's going to take him down. So they trip over each other. Now they need to find that AWP. dupreeh's trying to get in a position where he can potentially grab it, but that's just worst case scenario in this case.
To be fair, I think Device would be going down very shortly after that either way, but yes, nightmare situation. Going to be 2 players remaining for the CTs here, both of USPs. Seeing if they get anything out of this round, it's going to be almost guaranteed going in the favour of TSM at this point. autimatic should get a kill on Kjærbye here. Through the door, dupreeh sneaking out of drop-down room, can't get anything for it. It's going to be 4-4, TSM tying things up here. So there was an eco round essentially from Astralis there, but the fact they had the AWP, there definitely was potential for Device to do something that round. Couldn't land a single shot there. Obviously a lot of utility expended from TSM. That's the way you should be approaching those rounds, especially when you know they have saved a massive weapon like the AWP. Take away as much vision as possible, apply a lot of pressure with the flashbang, stick together, trade effectively. It actually works out for them as well. We go into round number 9. A buy does come out from Astralis. Definitely not the strongest though. 5 rifles, 1 kit. Lacking any sort of incendiaries as well, but TSM is starting to build some momentum here, getting their confidence up. We'll see if there's any reaction in terms of an aggressive play from Astralis here, looking for that first pick, which they have been getting. Device with the first challenge here.
That's aggressive from Device. No flash in there to do so. It's the first shot on Sick, but SEMPHIS with the trade. dupreeh's got to wrap back around. He can't land a shot as well on FNS, and he misses the second attempt. Does hit 1 single headshot, but that's not nearly enough considering the bullets that were fired. autimatic, good reactions. Nice snap toward karrigan. And now they've got control of B. They don't even have to push on A. Even though they got the first 2 picks on A, that alone, autimatic has so much information and control on this B site, they'll just safely bring the bomb back over.
Yeah, this should be round over at this point. That certainly solidifies it. ZipX drops as he tries to get into the connector window there, but now Kjærbye trying to stay alive at this point. We feel like it's almost a guarantee they'll go for the hunt here. They want to completely wreck the economy of the CTs. He'll be holding towards the vent area, seeing if anyone will rotate into him. He'd probably be good for 1 kill here. Once he gives his position away, you'd assume his teammates will come and back him up, but it's autimatic. Not committing just yet. That's another clean round from TSM. They're only dropping 1 frag. That's the interaction. It's going to be autimatic going down, like I said. Now they got the information, they probably will go and try and take that M4 out of his hands.
So an impressive start from TSM. They win the second round force buy. They're able to pick up 4 rounds, now they're 5th. And again, on Cobblestone, it seems like they're heavily underestimated. And by the way, finally, thank you for forcing the issue. TSM does have their Canadian flag.
You've been worried about that for a while.
All season, it's been absolutely annoying me.
Yeah. Well, that should be the economy broken with Astralis in. TSM really coming to life here on the T side, and you have to say compliments of Sick. That 3 versus 1 he got in the second round, that has given them something to work with here. 5-4 now. Kjærbye does save the M4, but I don't think they'll be forcing into this one. They want to make sure they actually have enough money to work with going forward. So he'll just be trying to do what he can. A couple of Deagles purchase, some PT50s, and a smoke and HG. That's all they have to work with here. Still within the grasp to do something with this. Kjærbye, obviously a very explosive player, but looks like another fast B play here. No one's always dropped down. All 5 players committed towards the upper platform here. And it's going to be working together. Trading frag Device. Surely can't do anything with this, and he is Molotov down around 2 steps area.
Smoke out, good nade from karrigan, but Twistzz finding ZipX again. It's another entry kill for TSM at this B site. Slow up slightly as they wait for those smokes to dissipate and try and find an opening. Molotov clears out behind the statue. They know the only angles they have to play are the long ones toward drop, and SEMPHIS has already found dupreeh. The late boost, easy for autimatic, as he just sits to watch it. And that's another round for TSM. They lose 2 players, but 3 up. Again, they start to build the economy, and SEMPHIS, one of the players that went down, has 10k, so instant buy for an AWP.
How do we feel about the veto process for Astralis? Obviously, Cobble is new for them. We haven't seen him much on LAN, and it was their go-to veto for about a year or so. And now they feel like they're trying to get in the map. Who obviously didn't have to play in this format. You can veto all your weak maps out. Is this a case of them trying to get some experience in it on an offline environment?
Well, we saw that exact thing happen to LG at Malmö, and it cost them dearly when they tried to play cash. I think that, yes, that could be part of it, and if so, then it's a serious underestimation of TSM in this case, because they know, look, again, Markus said it, that it seemed like a standout, that one victory that they did grab at E-League, but TSM has had some results on this, and if you look into their, just the games on it alone, it can be a map that they can put up numbers. So I think, again, when you have that many bans, you're never going to get a straight map in, because you're always going to be counterbanned, but you should get a neutral position. And either Astralis thought they had something much better in plan, or they just underestimated TSM entirely.
Well, SEMPHIS has got the AWP this time. You can see him just trying to peek towards that steps area, boosted up, very patient play so far. He's bleeding out at CT to this point. There's still plenty of time to work with. Haven't really gained much. No players on the A side of the map whatsoever.
To be fair as well, let's go back to DreamHack Summer, because the third map between them and NIP to decide who was going to the final was also on Cobble. And I know that they have been practicing it.
Of course.
Because Frederick, their manager, said, I can't wait to see what our boys finally put to work on Cobblestone. So they are confident on the map.
It's just a little bit of a risk weapon in a best of one. There's a little bit nuts, considering you have so many stronger maps available. There it is. FNS does open things up. Takes down karrigan once again. The Kjærbye fighting back. 4-4. TSM running out of time here, but they're going to be making their final play on the bomb side.
Good play from Xyp9x to stay alive this long, but with no support toward that drop room. He's a sitting duck for FNS when he walks out with the AWP. That pulls the advantage back to 1 for TSM. And how much control of the front of the site do they have? Look how far back Astralis is already. They've got to go for the save. Device is going to get caught. Not hit, though. Still a chance to try and save his AWP. But look at, I mean, again, TSM, they're uncontested on these entries on the B site.
Yeah, well, FNS, definitely not known as an explosive entry fragger, but he opens up the map there for TSM, gets the first entry kill in the drop-down area, picks up the AWP as well, gets the second, is Twistzz. Another 3 kills with him. Great performance so far. And Astralis looking pretty weak here. We're going to round number 12. They're going to be on another eco, by the looks of things. They could partial buy into this, some deagles, maybe a Mag 7 chucked in, but it's looking very interesting for sure.
And in fairness to where the veto went, just to clarify, it was either this or nuke.
So that's what it came down to.
That's what it came down to in the end.
It's fair enough. Like, obviously, they've been practicing. It's not like it's a horrible decision. It's just there's so many different options. Like Astralis removing Cash, for example. I'd say that's stronger than a Cobble.
You're right. That could have changed the complexion of it, because if they had removed something different in that case and left it for the end, then maybe it forces TSM to ban out nuke and it leaves another choice. But based on the 2 they had, I mean, this is the lesser of 2 evils.
And they removed Train as well, which is interesting. But still, it's going to be the double orb setup here on the T side. 7-4. It is going to be the force buy from the CTs. You know, it's going to have UMP, Famas. A couple of M4s chucked in, no kits. So they need to be working a little bit harder for central kill. You can see that reflected here. dupreeh and Device a little bit more aggressive towards middle. Look for that first pick, but it's SEMPHIS once again. Just waiting for anyone to move an inch, because he will take a mile at this point. Great position to watch for anyone trying to get a little bit of information at that point. We hit the 1 minute 10 mark. There are 3 players with the CTs towards that B bomb site. karrigan in the tree area. Xyp9x waiting behind the bomb site, and Kjærbye just patrolling towards the drop-down room. But so many smokes and Molotovs still available. A set piece really could come in there. They are going to struggle to execute on the side a little bit more. They need a pick to work if considering they have the double orb set up. But there's the first smoke. We'll see what the reaction is from the CTs at this point.
Xyp9x going to counter. Still waiting toward that chicken coop. He's going to shuffle out towards Statue instead. Now, again, they're moving their positions late. Watch this tree boost, though. This could still play off finally for karrigan. It's Device instead to find Twistzz. And he's just sitting inside of that smoke. And there we go, finally.
There we go.
Astralis taking down 3, countering it out. It's 2 AWPs left. And the chances of them finding an execution, well, if it's gifted to them like that, might become a little bit easier. But Astralis lined up. SEMPHIS pulls this back. It's now only a 1. Oh, he nearly looks for it. Kjærbye gets a little lucky. He doesn't quite go far enough. That could have been a massive change in the pace. And someone's name's changed on us. It's dupreeh. Going to close out the round. I do believe that's autimatic. Yes, it is. So autimatic gets taken down by dupreeh, and that's going to make it 7-5. Finally, a round going in their favor. They did get the boost up early. I was a little bit concerned with Xyp9x scurrying over a little bit late, but they managed to make it work.
This moment from SEMPHIS, I feel like Astralis giving a bit too much away. They had the bomb down the connector and just had to set the crossfires there. Drop down didn't even have to be an issue at that point. They tried to retake it. SEMPHIS picked up a couple, made things dangerous for sure, but there it is though. Astralis pick up round number 5. They have the double orb set up now in their favour. So this is a change of pace for them. It's going to be karrigan on the orb as well. I feel like that's probably a good move. Have 1 turret set up on either side of the map as Device once again going aggressive, looking for the kill above that smoke. Would be flashed off and falling back. Still has dupreeh watching towards danger though. There it is. karrigan will be playing towards that chicken coop area. This looks like potential A split territory. As we have got the bomb going towards long A, a couple of players towards drop down as well. So this can be a very effective strategy from Cobble. If you can get control of the drop down room and find the first pick, send the CTs into a lot of confusion. We'll see how this works out for them. This could be a full reset though. Try to be very careful there.
autimatic, thankfully, has renamed himself.
Good job.
We can get back to normality. FNS getting ready to clear out that danger position, likely looking for a teammate to flash him in from outside of mid. Twistzz gonna push up toward that long corner as well. And as Device waits with the AWP, they don't have any utility yet placed, but there's 2 players here. Jump across will bait out the shot. That forces him back to stable. So again, TSM on B, they're getting entrances uncontested. On A, they're getting map control. They've pushed back Astralis so many times in these positions.
Well, this is textbook so far. They still have options to go back towards B if they want to. They've taken the vision away from the CTs at least. Kjærbye still aggressive towards middle here. He's trying to be the snake in the grass, if you will. His teammates take the aggro at the top of mid, and he tries to get the spray down. autimatic, though, edging his way through the smoke. This could be a massive kill, and he can get it. There it is. Takes down Kjærbye. Now is the time to strike.
Device going to be playing behind the APC this time, but Molotov already on him as they got the information. He does manage to get back toward the hut. Nearly gets caught out by a telephone pole. And And he's waiting for the angle to present. Sick. He's taking Zipex again. They're going to put him out in the open. Incandescence. He can't find the shot through the flames, and it is going to be Sick to take Device down. It's karrigan with only 1, and it's 1 versus 3. Good shoulder peek baits out the shots from FNS. He's got to go for this. 7-5. They really desperately need rounds.
Yeah, this is full reset, so he needs to see what he can do with this one. 2 versus 1, bomb ticking away. Has a couple of flashbangs here, but unfortunately, Terrors know exactly where he is now. They do spot him towards that APC area. Bomb ticking away. That is not going to give him anything to work with here. That's going to be the final warning sign. They won't have the face at all now. They can't go for the full defuse at this point. Maybe he takes down SEMPHIS. That's not even going to happen for him. Sick gets the final kill. That's a massive round for TSM to pick up. You can see the money reflected now. They're going to be eco here. It won't be a double just yet, but still, TSM do win the half here on the T side. And what great work for them, just in terms of fundamentals of CS, how you approach the map, get the map control, push the CTs back, then work together, get that first frag going in your favor, then you strike, you take opportunities as they arrive. It was automatic to get the first kill on Kjærbye, and they just took the opportunity right there and then. That's really good counter-strike from them. It's going to be a force fight from Astralis, you know, so they're going all in this moment. 1 rifle, UMP, and 3 pistols. Interesting decision. I would have probably kept the money a little bit stronger for the last round, trying to pick that up. They're going to be weakened now going forward, but need to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, need is a very straightforward term. 9-6, you can at least win pistol, pull it back to 9-9, and play straight up. But
exactly. I think they would have had a much higher percentage chance of winning the second half. Let's have a little bit more to work with. Going to that last round to be very difficult indeed. But here we go then. It's a simple A take. All 5 players sticking together. They know the money's broken for the CD at this point. Just want to make sure they're trading frags. Device open things up, but he's flashing. dupreeh chimes in as well.
Oh, and SEMPHIS, I don't know why he doesn't just let Twistzz take that angle and win it with the rifle. He goes for it with the AWP. It ends up costing him his life, and just like that, this is all turned because dupreeh with an AK finds Twistzz immediately after coming back out to support his teammate, and it's all on automatic. They had good map control right up until the point they chose to overcommit to that corner position. It allowed the rotations, and Kjærbye's going to close this back, so now we've got a real possibility to pull this back.
The problem is they're all 5 towards middle. That's great. They were expecting a full eco there with silent USPs, but that force buy from Astralis called them out. Device with the UMP towards the middle. He had no aggro from long A. Had they just slowed down a little bit, splits it, got the execution down, the smoke towards balcony and towards connector as well. They could have actually had the pinter on him, traded frags, but they had no control of long A, so that was a real problem for them. Device free reign to pick up those first couple of kills, and that round slips away from them. That's big for Astralis. We're going to number 15 here. TSM feeling the burn of the economy. They've got a Galil, CZ in the hands of SEMPHIS, and it's another fast B play coming in. B split in fact, 1 towards drop down and 1 towards B. Let's go.
Fast play. Astralis need to counter this, these B plays. This is where they've had the issues in holding them, and again, it's Sick and Twistzz. They've got the advantage on the entry, but karrigan gets a lineup. Twistzz gifts him as he takes down SEMPHIS, and now Device. Finally, an important AWP kill against Sick is automatic. Desperate to make a play, does not have the bomb, and he's dropped down as well. It's going to be an 8-7 from what we were potentially looking at before that force buy win was going to be a 10-5 half.
Yeah, that's a real blunder from TSM that round. I highlighted this so many times in the online portions of this league. Whenever they're up in those anti-eco situations, they like to go all in on one place. Instead of actually playing like a default like they normally were and doing fantastically, they're not treating it like a gun run at all. They're thinking, oh, they've only got USPs, guys. This is the easy one. Stick together and we'll surely get to win all the duels. But if you have no map control whatsoever, you have no presence, you're not pinstering, it means the CTs can surprise you in those certain positions, and they really need to work on that. That's going to cost them games effectively. That could be a real defining moment of this best of one. We're in definitely in the driving seat. Still have the advantage in terms of map score. It's 8-7. This pistol's going to mean everything. Astralis with 3 sets of armor, 2 smokes as well, so more tactical execute here potentially. And look at the play from TSM. No one towards B. This is all in. Pushing A, hungry for the first kills. Device to spot a couple, and I'm not sure to be aware of how much aggression is coming in.
There it is. Shot from Twistzz. So the push, the round, the bomb spotted, but they are waiting for this. They've got the information. Kjærbye gets 1, FNS immediately pulls that back, and 6 got another onto dupreeh. This is an awkward pistol round. We're not even going to get anywhere near bomb site, although that kill might open up a bit of a placement.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach from the TSM. Normally you see players on maps like Cash, you send 3 doors B storage, 100 information. It's very rare to see 5 players all commit to one single area.
This is actually an old school strat when Cobblestone just came back, and remember Virtus Pro was the first to counter it by waiting out toward the statue, so it's actually really impressive to see it work, because as you say, very unorthodox. Kjærbye, oh, that's a misplay. That's bombed down again, and karrigan's already committed to the site, expecting his teammate to join him. He gets caught out, misses with the Glock, and it's 1 versus 3, and TSM might have enough on that alone. USBs now have a little bit of range, but karrigan, he's going to close the gap, doesn't matter. Automatic, in fact, through the board, just to add to the stylistic of it, but karrigan goes down. I mean, that Kjærbye, that's a big miss.
Yeah, that was their opportunity to get back in the round. If he didn't find that kill, 2-on-2, still had the bomb in their hand and time to play it as well. Doesn't manage to land it, and this automatic turns around and completely rails him with the USB there. So TSM pick up the pistol, back in control of this. We'll see what kind of buy comes from Astralis. You would assume it's going to be the force buy, considering they didn't get the bomb out. There it is. So we have Tech9's Deagles, a couple of smoke grenades. Obviously, Astralis well-versed in these upgraded pistols, especially dupreeh. Gets with a Deagle in hand, which I would have expected. Actually, Kjaerbye building that weapon. Fast play towards A, looking for any sort of crossfire setup towards that area. I think some vision aware of that smoke towards B as well, but here we go. Looking to get the first frag and then make their move with the smoke grenade.
SEMPHIS goes down at the hands of Kjærbye, so at least he pulls one back this round, but it's automatic. Immediately countering on device. Good flash in, but dupreeh's got back far enough around the corner. He can't push immediately on top of him. Does find him toward danger. Nade in as well. Could do potential damage, but didn't want to overcommit to the peek and drop a gun. Good one through the door. Finds Kjærbye. That's going to be the end of it, though. dupreeh Tech9 brings us back to 3 versus 3. This is the play. This is Xyp9x making a play, but he shoots too soon. Sick does walk back and he's able to pick it up. But now he's got the distraction. He's forced TSM to split up. They can start to entry from the long A position at the same time. However, Twistzz, a good compensation. He waits toward the APC. And this normalizes again, though. Astralis did get some advance from this. Good tag onto dupreeh right away. And there is still a FAMAS picked up in the hands of karrigan. Remember that, because it could pay off. Look how low they both go. One more bullet on either. But it's TSM in the end. They hold on just barely.
Yeah, absolutely. Very close stuff. And that play from Xyp9x, that could have been it. He got in behind connector area, finds the first kill, and actually does the right play there. Smokes off towards that area, takes that vision away from the rotating CT player, but it was a really good reaction from TSM. They knew they had to find that kill if they were going to stand any chance there. Comes down to, like you said, 1 bullet of HP on either player, but they managed to pull through. It's going to be a full eco from Astralis, so TSM surely can take a little bit of time here just to calm down and play things much deeper. It's going to be Astralis with PT50s across the board, 1 flashbang, so you'd assume a fast play, try and get the bomb down any way possible, but even that's going to be a little bit of a stretch.
Xyp9x first to try and enter, he gets caught down by Sick, and wow, bloodbath, crossfire, FNS there with the M4 as well. It's on device, long way away from the bomb.
Good luck.
A long way away from B, yeah. Luck is a mere fraction of what he would need in this case.
Well then, that round is normally what we call the throwaway round, is when the T's have nothing to work with there. They're waiting for the next round. Obviously, they get the AKs out. Don't think they'll have enough for AWP, that's for sure, but it's going to be a struggle. We'll see what they can do here. It's a replay right now. FNS helping out Sick. He was caught in a little bit of a tight situation after expending all of his MP9 bullets. Round number 19, the current scoreline is 11-7. It's 5 AKs for Astralis. You can see, look at the utility as well. They have the smokes, no Molotovs. This is a difficult round for them as well. SEMPHIS on the AWP has got a huge advantage here. We'll see what he decides to do. A lot of CD teams like to come out of the trap hot with this first gun round and go with something aggressive, go with the first pick, surprise the terrorists, any sort of set piece or default they had in mind, find that first kill, but it looks like maybe a B rush coming in here for Astralis. They're going to be sending all 5 players to this side of the map, taking the vision away of that initial smoke as well, and dupreeh will better man for the drop to look for the entry kill.
Molotov on the inside of the smoke means they can't push through it. They can't take advantage of the arch. It does give FNS a bit of room to play with, but he's late to get here. Flashing. Did they spot him? I think so, because they go immediately on the hunt, but he does get one as he pops back out, and that does give TSM still the advantage to work with. SEMPHIS going to greater that. Wow. And he takes down karrigan as well with an excellent up-close shot, so TSM
looking good.
Full control right now.
Absolutely. It's pretty devastating for Astralis. I think this is another eco coming in, so we have got a tactical pause surely for Astralis this time. They're going to round number 20 here. Money's sat at around the 3k mark average, I would say. So definitely can't justify the force by this point. I think they need to wait for the loss bonus to build up to max for the next round, and then they can really start getting into this one. But it will be 13-7. If everything goes to plan over TSM, SEMPHIS gets that AWP, like I said, he's instrumental to their success. If they can actually get him onto that weapon, he can be very effective indeed. He manages to hold off his last 2 frags, and Astralis didn't really have much to work with there. Sent all 5 players towards the B site, didn't really execute that as one smoke, and hoping they could find the initial kills with quite a default play. But it doesn't really work out for them. A lot of aggro coming in there. Like I said, that Molotov is so required for that new steps area, and they didn't have that, so they're trying to take their attention from that area towards the bomb site, and then the tree as well. There's so much to look at if you don't have the utility to work with, so that's going to punish them. Tactical pause comes in. Obviously, Zono trying to calm the troops down.
Yeah, absolutely, and try and get some leadership here from karrigan to find out an alternative. Because, I mean, you reverse it. You look at TSM's entries. They were just tearing heads off every time they walked in, and it was done so easily, so effortlessly. and they did use the utility, but Astralis just can't get it rolling in the same positions.
Well, having a look at the buy for Astralis, it will be the partial buy coming in. So obviously, maximum loss spend is next round, $3,400. Means they can take their money down to maximum about $1,400 at this point, and still have AKs next round. So we'll get Tech 9s, PT50s, smokes as well. When you have this kind of buy, the armor and the pistols, you want to make sure you're doing a set piece. You want to make the war smokes come in, segregate the CTs, make things uncomfortable, try and make them in 1-on-X situations. So that's what I'm expecting here, possibly towards B, wall of smokes coming in, try and get the plant down. That's a chance you've got to make things uncomfortable, at least for the counter-terrorists. But I'm sure TSM will be aware this is coming in. Play things a little bit deeper. Maybe SEMPHIS alone on the A-bomb site, he can solve things off, get early calls in. He doesn't really need to go for initial picks at this stage. He knows those Tech 9s have a lot of running gun potential.
He has a really forward A-spawn as well. Does SEMPHIS, so he could actually try and push out toward long and get that early information. I know you've been critical of that peak before, looking all the way at statue from long, but if you can get there fast enough, I think he's actually heading that direction.
It's great if you can nail the shot for sure, but it's one of the hardest angles for a CD to face. There's so many options for the terrorists to wait for you, but
well, they're pushing it. They've got 3 players pushing it right now, TSM. So they get SEMPHIS in a position where even if he goes down, they get the trade kill right away. As soon as he doesn't get information, they're going to anchor it with just automatic and bring that AWP back over, rotate the 3rd member as well, and stack up inside this B site, which is the right call. Unfortunately for Astralis, them slowing down is actually going to allow it to happen because they had a bit of an advantage to work with. Wall of smokes, bomb plant is the intended desire of the round as FNS is forced back outside of this wall. He won't have access. They will get the bomb in place, but he can hear them jumping, he can hear them pushing, and he'll find karrigan before he gets to the cubby. That's a huge position to hold off because that means they can start to execute toward the inside of the site. But good pick from Xyp9x. Crossfire still set. They're going to walk into it. Twistzz is the one to fall. And now they've got an AK picked up to work with. Xyp9x is trying to find the best angle to work with. He doesn't want to overcommit just yet. But that nade from autimatic, device just barely down the stairwell. He's going to dodge that.
now it's up to Astralis to try and hold on here. Bomb ticking away as well. autimatic will be taken down. There's 2 kills for Astralis, and now it's just up to Sick. He'll be locked in the connector room, and this tactic is actually going to work out for Astralis. The set piece, like I said, segregate the CTs. They actually locked everyone out of the bomb site at that point. CTs, I was about to say, were very disciplined, waiting for everyone to rotate over, going to retake together, but it was Twistzz. He got a lot of good audacious. He jumped through towards drop down by himself, trying to be the hero at that point. Had no one to back him up. As soon as he went down, they gave another rifle away to Astralis, and you don't want to give those kind of weaponry to these guys. They're very skilled players. As soon as that happened, they get themselves back into this game. Big round for them. Tons of cash going forward as well. And we have another pause coming in, so I assume this is TSM's tactical pause, or whether we have something a little more.
And it could be smart to do it right away. I mean, you're still only on 12 rounds. You know, when you look at the scoreboard, double digits, you're high up there, it seems great. It's still a long way to go. And if they start to lose momentum, if they start to lose the economy now, it can very quickly be pulled dead even. I have to say to Astralis, though, going to that set execution, that intended design play was a much better decision, and it caught TSM entirely off guard.
Well, obviously, you don't have the options to work the picks when you have the Tech 9s and the Eagles. It's very much harder to actually walk out and try and rip someone's head off. They don't really have much more than a one-shot opportunity, but that's what I'm talking about. As soon as you get those smokes down, the CTs have to decide, oh, do I stick by this by myself? Do I fall back and allow my teammates to rotate in? That's the right idea. Wait for them to come in together. You've got a huge advantage there in terms of the firepower, but some misplays from autimatic jumping through the smoke. Oh, sorry, it was a Twistzz, actually. Jumping through toward that drop-down area. That's when the round really did heavily swing in favor of the Danes. So, yeah, I think this is a good time. We're coming to the closing sectors, potentially here. If TSM can get a couple of rounds, if they pick up this one, it's going to be the reset for Astralis. So just take some time, work out what your next setup's going to be, whether SEMPHIS is going to go for something aggressive. We mentioned it before, long A has potential, so does middle as well. We'll see what they decide to do, but Astralis definitely get themselves back into this. A really big round for them to win. It's currently 12-8 here. I have to say, TSM have impressed me the most so far in terms of their default plays on the T side. Great at working the map control, and actually some big clutch moments as well. The star players stepping up. We did say going into this one, especially on the analyst desk, it's Twistzz and Sick. They're the upcoming stars of the US scene right now, especially Twistzz, was 16 years old?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
nuts.
again, not allowed to play at E-League. That's why Cadian was there. Due to the age restrictions that E-League has placed, Turner's placed on that league, he just wasn't allowed to attend, and there was a lot of questions. You know, would that mean his future was in jeopardy with the roster? Would that mean that, you know, it wasn't worth the investment to keep him on? But in doing so, I think they've made the right decision because this guy's got so much talent. And if you release him to the wild, some other team's going to take advantage of it. It will come back to haunt them. So,
Well, this is a best of one, of course. If TSM would have picked this up, this is their first ever European event of this lineup. That's kind of crazy. Going up against one of the world's best teams here, and they're having a fantastic showing so far as well.
Remember last year when there was a lot of roster, or I guess not roster changes, but organizational changes where one team would go from one org to the next? They always seem to get picked on by their former org.
Yeah.
It's like some superstitious curse. Here it is again. TSM just poking at Astralis right now.
Yeah, that was one of the storylines. I was kind of thinking about storylines I could bring up in the opening section. I thought, well, there's not really much we can talk about. I assume there's been a stomping in favour of Astralis, but you can say like, oh, we're playing into their old org. Is that going to get inside their heads? Can't lose this one, surely.
Because it used to happen when they were TSM, and Dignitas used to give them a good run. Although that's also Danish derby.
The Danish derby,
yeah, exactly.
That's right. But yeah, this is obviously, you don't want to be losing to your old org. You want to show you've moved on, you've progressed, you've got your own house now. You build it yourself. You don't need them no more. And TSM have a very good showing so far. It's going to be a full buy for both teams. So I'll have a look at the buy just as we're taking time off here. No headsets on, so I'm sure it's going to be a little while longer. It's technical pause, in fact. It wasn't tactical. So all the discussion we brought up was completely redundant as usual. But, you know, we'd like to speculate. SEMPHIS with the AWP. They have got a decent buy there. It's going to be 4 rifles joining him as well. No AWP on the T side, Jeff. Sticking to 5 AKs. And I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck to that default / set piece mentality that worked so well from the Tech-9s. Why not give that another go? Get some map control and then trying to push the CDs back and take them away from certain positions with those smokes. Like we said, we casted this map out, DreamHack Open. We were discussing how much impact we thought that new steps had so far. It seemed like it was not massively. It was kind of good, especially on the anti go around to the CT to get more vision there. It meant the Tech-9s were a little bit less effective, especially if they didn't have the smokes to work with. So that was pretty cool. But I'm enjoying the addition, I would say. It's not too much.
Yeah, so far so good, I think, as well for me. Because like I said, I mean, it does give another angle. It doesn't change too much in terms of timings, but we do see a player completely up and out of the seat. Hopefully, this doesn't mean.
Matt, I've got some news for you. We're going to throw to a break. It's going to take a little bit longer than we thought. Yeah, so we're going to go to a quick commercial break, guys.
Get the news?
This one's only going to get better. I think it's got a few more twists and turns, so do not go anywhere.
Do you play Counter-Strike? Do you want to play with the pros? Do you want to play against this guy?
Going in for his team.
Oh! Or this guy? Perhaps even this guy. Okay, maybe not him. Sign up now to FACEIT.com and take your game to the next level. Play against the pros only at FACEIT.com.
My name is Forrest.
I'm GetRight.
Freiberg. You want to beat an old-timer like me?
Come try us at FACEIT.com.
The home of all the good stuff.
TSM have been stuck for a long time at the same sort of level and approach. The sort of pick-up game, loose, aggressive, rolling the dice sort of style that SEMPHIS seems so comfortable in. But the problem was that you can never generate consistency against good teams in that way. And it seems like they realized this. A transformation recently occurred very unexpectedly, and it seems to be taking quite well. More structure has been added, and the puggy style has been dropped. And the results have really been showing that. SEMPHIS. SEMPHIS has always been the carry of the team, the star player, and the spiritual leader, some may say. His aggressive AWPing has been absolutely insane and features in a lot of highlight clips and a lot of their big results as well. However, recently he started to taper off of that aggressiveness, learning better when to pick his spots, which has added consistency to his team. FNS. Long since departed from CLG, he showed improvement with TSM and is fitting in quite well, staying cool in clutch situations and fragging well into the mid-rounds. Autimatic. Another rifler for the team and another player that's seen quite some improvement under TSM and their new style of play. A rifler as well as FNS. Sick. Sick has had a lot of nutty performances recently, and this is a large part of TSM's improved results. If he can find consistency at these peaks, TSM are quite dangerous. Twistzz. The standard for the team currently is they are looking to sign a full-time fifth, but his numbers along with Sick have been rising steadily, which shows a lot of promise for TSM at the ECS finals. TSM have surprised everyone recently because of the added structure and the sudden burst of strong performances from every player on the team. And one feature of the structure that's helped to add consistency, as mentioned, is SEMPHIS picking his spots to go aggressive a lot more wisely. the run through the league was not stellar, with 4 wins and 5 losses. At a time when they were swapping players and there was that inner turmoil on changing structure and the transitory period, it definitely wasn't an easy time for TSM. But their playoff run, where it all counted, started to really turn some heads. They took down 2 favorites to make it out. CLG and Optic both fell to a renewed TSM. A result that's still surprising to see, but clearly is a result of a better system and the comfort within it. SEMPHIS will always be the player to watch. This guy is so fun to watch with the AWP of his. Even though he's lightened up a little bit on that aggressive play, he's still capable of pulling off massive clutches and unpredictable moves to turn the tide for his team. There's no doubt that TSM are the weakest team going into the tournament. From all perspectives, map pool, the strategy to individual skill, they are definitely surpassed by pretty much every other team. But perhaps that can be a strength. Perhaps it can alleviate all the pressure and allow them to show what their new system and renewed confidence can really do. Don't count them out at the ECS finals at Wembley, but don't get your hopes up either. Astralis, undoubtedly one of the best teams in the world for the last year, still don't have the results or the consistency that we all know they should be capable of. Towards the end of the ECS, Kjærbye, the rising new super talent of Denmark, replaced Kjaerbye and, in theory, should offer the right kinds of tools the team needs to do better. Device has the capability to be a top 3 player in the world, and sometimes he hits that peak. He is the main AWPer and carry for the team. dupreeh is the entry specialist, and when he's on, he is very fearsome indeed. Sometimes able to win rounds by himself with those T-sided entries. It is pretty fun to watch, I have to say. And one thing you have to look out for is that deagle of his. karrigan, the in-game leader and a situational or secondary AWPer. karrigan is the man with the plan. He's a part of the new breed that showed that the in-game leader can sometimes have the best performances in the tournament, and sometimes that's needed. Being an in-game leader is no excuse for a lack of numbers. ZipX. Once upon a time, he was on the hot seat, about to be kicked. But since then, he has shown up repeatedly to be the best support player that Astralis could ask for. A very smart and clutch player who always tries to play a situation optimally and with discipline. Kjærbye. The young gun, Kjærbye, has had absolutely astounding performances even when his past teams have been getting crushed. It seems this potential is really beginning to surface now. He's become more confident on land. He will add consistent rifling, which should take a lot of pressure off of his teammates, in particular allowing key players like Device and dupreeh to really perform. Astralis are always very dangerous and have what it takes on the server to take titles, but off the server they seem to suffer from issues. Psychological issues have plagued Astralis in the past, and particularly at those playoff stages where they begin to get deep into a tournament. Is Kjærbye the mix-up the answer that they need? Time will tell. With 7 wins and 1 loss, Astralis breezed through the online portion of the league, being the only team to do so in Europe. All but one of their results were convincing. Not quite the flashy dominance of Luminosity, but the only team that seemingly challenged Astralis were NIP. That said, Astralis have only recently just put Cobble into their map pool, and this was one of the reasons NIP were able to win that best of 3. Kjærbye is the player to watch. If this guy is performing, it's great to see. But it will also tell us that the integration is going well, and by that notion, Astralis will have a great chance at a solid run. There isn't a team that Astralis match up poorly against. The only thing that can truly stand in their way is themselves. That psychological issue that has pained them in the past, if that is dealt with, the sky is the limit. The teams with weaker map pools like TSM and Cloud9, who are both teams who have recently had shake-ups themselves in leadership and otherwise, they're really going to have problems against a diverse team like Astralis.
think of the future, I think of the men and machines and friends and ideas and philosophy and spirit.
About it tomorrow.
And philosophy and spirit. Man and machine.
Feel so free, just believe we can come alive. We're so far from the ground, but I'm not looking down. Feel the warmth of the breeze rushing over me. Now we're soaring high, reach and touch the sky.
I'd like production in my ear.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the delays. We are getting things underway very shortly here. Right now, in fact, Matt. So we are back. It is 12-8 here. It was a great series. Sorry to slow the action down, but we're going to be underway right now. It's going to be round number 21. SEMPHIS with the AWP. Astralis bouncing back with something pretty aggressive there towards the B side. All 5 players committed to this side once again.
Interesting to see how this affects the momentum in this game. Astralis obviously did just win an eco, or I guess a leveling pistol buy after a timeout, and then this one happened, so it was 12-7, but now it's karrigan into the site, this time with weapons. Again, that set piece, the same piece they ran on that post-timeout round, that it's going to work again. They forced them out to the site. TSM has no information on the inside of the smoke, and that allows the bomb to go down, though, and they're already going to try and bail out of this. Twistzz, quick smoke to give him safety. And he's gone. They're going to save. They have to save. TSM with the AWP still up might give them something in the next round.
Yeah, we did speculate this when the pause came in. Man said, well, it worked so well with the Tech 9s. Why didn't Astralis try and run it again with the rifles? They do exactly that. Works very effectively indeed. Only karrigan goes down. They get the entry frags and take 3 of the TSM defending players out. It's going to be SEMPHIS and Twistzz here saving the weaponry. AWP in the hands of SEMPHIS. And they'll be holding towards long ASL, but unfortunately for them, ZipX homing in on their position. He could get the drop on Twistzz here. Oh, lovely shot from Twistzz to take him down. So they will be presumably saving the weapons at this point, even after they have been found out towards this area. But there it is, Astralis slowly but surely getting back in this game. And I think the thing with TSM is that I'm pretty sure they've got a very good T side on this map. The CT side is where they might struggle. We've seen so many games on Cobble where it's gone from a 12-3 and brought right back down to the wire here. So I expect that to happen, especially with a big round of that going in favor of the Danes. Number 22 comes in. Money not fantastic here, so TSM need to work out. Do they go all in? Force buy this one. They have got an M4 and AWP to play with as well. Buys coming in slowly. Actually could be more of a modest approach here. So SEMPHIS the AWP trying to make things happen. Twistzz at M4 joining him as well. They haven't invested much more than a Deagle 2P to 50 here. No armor on those remaining players as well. So they're looking to the future here, which I think is the right call. Don't know that economy spiraled out of control. We speculated that might be a problem for them going forward. It's a B rush coming in from Astralis.
SEMPHIS waiting on the stairs. They haven't put someone here in a while. That was a big opportunity. Thankfully, his teammates have got the opening kills, but they can't do much more than that. They haven't been playing that stairwell on the smoke strategy. I feel like that was a counter by SEMPHIS in that positioning, but missing that shot still leaves us on 3-on-3. Flank potential from FNS. He's spotted and figured out. Oh, sick. I was going to say he still has that position on the site, but obviously they knew exactly where he was because Device absolutely nails him. A quick closeout. So Astralis now 3 in a row, despite that it's been 2 since we've had our lovely little vacation.
It was a nice one. I liked DDK's commentating, like he was doing the kind of voiceover guy thing. So, coming this summer, Astralis versus TSM. I think I should have done that, to be fair.
I think you should.
I think I've got the voice for it. Maybe I'll just send my audition tape in. Maybe I can have the opportunity one day.
Yeah.
But there it is. TSM do take the eco there, and they're actually going to lose the AWP. So that was a good chance. SEMPHIS got that opening kill, put the bomb down as well. If he had that second shot, maybe he would have had a real chance of causing some damage there. But it is 12-10. Astralis hit double figures. Actually a difficult buy for TSM as well. No kits, lacking the incendiaries. And Astralis starting to find their rhythm here in the second half.
ZipX above drop is going to be the one to try and open up some space. FNS again more aggressive this time out toward that B platform. He's playing alongside Sick. He's also on the statue, so again, a much more forward stance on that B side as they start to look Astralis over toward A instead. Smoke out on top of the bottom of mid. That'll prohibit Prefix, who again has had his name changed. I assume this is due to the config they're likely running for this server, but it's automatic that's going to be getting down up close because they don't have that vision. They can't close out on Kjærbye, and the reason that smoke storm is exactly this. They can now clear out danger, work toward long, and get ready to throw potentially a set piece on this A site if they like to. Again, right now they're just getting map control. Still 53 seconds to work with.
It's taking information away from the CTs at this point. You can see them just getting control of long A and middle as well. Device watching mid like a hawk here. CTs need to work out what's going on here. Like I said, they've got a very limited buy, no kits, and now no utility as well. Device, I was going to say easy first kill. That actually gets dinged, and it's going to be automatic picking up that first kill. So 5 and 4, that's exactly what they needed. But here comes the commitment from Astralis going towards that A site.
Well, Kjærbye does get Twistzz back. dupreeh is going to know about that positioning at the bottom of middle. Thankfully, they picked that up. But again, watch inside of the site, because it's going to be the cannons right now that SEMPHIS plays from. He commits to the peak early, and that actually leaves him exposed. Does pick up one, surprisingly, in that situation. But usually you'll see them wait and try and get overlooked. Either way, it's sick to pull this back 2 versus 2, and he's still staring down the headshot as karrigan gets found. And with bomb down, they know ZipX is on top of the site. 9 HP. He's so vulnerable, and leaves himself in the open to hold the angle rather than trying to play the long gaming for cover.
Big round there for TSM, like I said, very limited towards the end. Astralis had everything going in their favor. They had the map control, they still had residual grenades as well, and it was all up to autimatic to get that first kill, give them an opportunity into that round. He finds it as well. That opens up the floodgates. Astralis go with the all-in commitment, do get it, equal exchanges to begin with, but Six stepping up that. He manages to get the diffuser, pick up an AWP as well. This kind of balances the books a little bit for them. Money's still going to be great, but the fact they saved 2 weapons here certainly helps. They can drop 2 weapons over, and I think another pause coming in. I hope it's not tactical map, but you never know. You never know. Do we think this might be the tactical time for TSM to work out, okay, we've just won a round. Money's not great, so we work out how we approach this.
I speculated that the other one was going to be their tactical pause. It turned out to be that extended technical, and I wouldn't have blamed them for using it there again, just based on the economy and the way that it was shaping up, but this wouldn't surprise me either. Hopefully that's all it is. I do see intent faces still on
They're not talking
TSM side. Well, hopefully it's...
There's silence.
A focused face.
We can hear some comms, at least. I think that's from the Danes.
It does sound Danish. It does not sound English.
So we've got that much going for us. We can work that one out. But we are back. I assume there's a little technical issue, and hopefully that'll be the last of it, as this game is getting to its crescendo, I would say, at this point. It's the closing sectors. 13-10 now. TSM, if they can win this one, it will break the economy of Astralis potentially. We'll see what they can do. I think I saw Kjaerbye and Zipex on high cash. They may combine to this one, but let's see how this goes. Round number 24 is going to be another B-sided attack. So one player in the form of Kjaerbye making his way towards A, waiting for any sort of aggression, but there's 4 CDs waiting for them here.
FNS close to the hole in the wall, smoked out, standard positioning for karrigan behind it in that corner. No Molotov thrown by the CTs to clear that. Likely wait until the smoke goes down, or rather, excuse me, the smoke fades, if they elect to do so, because then they can catch him on rotation, but SEMPHIS is just going to hold the angle instead. There is only 2 Molotovs on this CT side to work with. Oh, that is a hand.
The fist. Oh, there it is. Takes down dupreeh as well, but karrigan waiting. Potentially could go the refrag here, but it's another set piece coming in from the Danes, looking to take away this vision. They potentially could go towards A still. This could be the ruse. Try and rotate some CD players over, then make their way to the other side.
FNS is still waiting in this archway as well, so they have got him into a decent position as they foil back away. They give up drop so that they can hold this exact position. That's why they do it, because they don't want to give up the front of the site. Good pickup to drop the bomb, and FNS is able to find karrigan. Good early damage and follows it up through the smoke, and Sick taking Zipex is going to slow this considerably. 1 versus 5 for Kjærbye.
Yeah, this was a little bit lackluster from Astralis here. Didn't show their hand toward the A side whatsoever. Didn't rush towards B, didn't get that first pick, just slowly made the way towards our platform, set up for the set piece, but as soon as dupreeh went down, like we said, I'm not sure if that's a misplay from him, and he just shows his fist a little bit too much, overstepped the mark, and the karrigan wasn't ready to get the refrag at all. Normally our position as well, that tight corner, we see a lot of players holding there very patiently, waiting to catch an AWP out of position, but didn't really turn out that way. It's going to be 14-10 now, with TSM in touching distance, taking the opening map of Group B. FNS, great player. Baited in by SEMPHIS. He utilizes the corner. Got a little bit sloppy towards the end, but it's the kills that count. He drops the bomb as well. And we go into round number 25. Still money available here, especially for Device. He gets the AWP. No grenades to work with. karrigan just onto a Tech 9 here, so they do have enough to work with. I think the AWP does compensate for the lack of rifle for karrigan. We'll see whether they can get that first pick here, but still 1 round will bring TSM to match point here.
Twistzz just going to wait again. They're putting a lot of pressure on this B site, TSM. They know that's where Astralis beat them 2 rounds consecutively after the timeout with a very, very good set wall of smoke. This time again, it's going to be drop room. They want to take over. dupreeh gets down. Zipex just holds the angle to get him in a better position. Smoke off on window. I'm going to let that fade as well, but A is so open. Kjærbye's going to get over here and get some information, but they're setting up still a crossfire on top of the A platform itself. But they have rotated the 4th player back toward the B side at FNS. He jumps toward the window, and dupreeh is sitting there waiting. That's why he sat there the whole time, and the trade. So Zipex waited for that exact play because they anticipated TSM to try and get information on the CT side toward that position. It works out. So that trade is actually hugely beneficial. That miss has the same effect in turn, because now they can get so close to the site, and SEMPHIS hasn't done anything of it, but he does drop the bomb down. 30 seconds, they can still recover this. More so if they take 6, which again, Zipex playing the trade is going to do, and a late lurk from Kjærbye is going to close it out. So that very, very good setup with dupreeh and Zipex inside the drop.
Not the prettiest CS so far, I have to say. Quite sloppy towards the end there. The fact that SEMPHIS just run on the side of the CZ. His teammates can't cover him as he's planting. That's pretty questionable, but they managed to recover. And it's going to be 14-11 here. They have broken the money of TSM as well. Still, with a better rounds to play with here, the Americans are going to be okay, but Astralis need to be very careful here. If they were to lose this round, that would be almost GG at this point, but surely could be able to negate the upgraded pistols here. CZ's P250s and a Deagle in the hand of Twistzz. There will be another B play coming in from Astralis. It's been the most successful area of the map, I would say, for sure. Device still on the AWP, looking for that first pick. See if anyone will give anything towards that new steps area, but it will be the broken wall this time. SEMPHIS narrowly dodges the first bullet there. But he probably gave away it was an eco at this point. He would have seen he had the pistol in his hand. So now they can slow things right down, Astralis. Just make sure they stick together and don't make the same mistakes TSM needed. Don't want to go to the same area all at once and leave massive holes in the defense, or the offense, I guess, in this procedure. But make sure you're going in, playing it like an actual default round, getting map control, smoking off key points, and having everything covered at this point.
And then rotate back over. Is effectively going to put 5 on the A side of the map. Not fully inside of the site, but close enough to set up some position. Crossfire.
This is interesting.
Cancel off the entrance. Yeah, they're already committing on this. Yeah, this is straight up 10 players on the A site. dupreeh's already committed to stables as well. And look at Sick. They're going to find him on top of the platform. But watch at the barrels, because that's the play for Twistzz right now. That could play, excuse me, FNS that could play off. The Sick does find dupreeh. Now they know there's one there. Okay, he has peaked. But it's a strong peak because TSM are still finding kills. Device up close has to go to the AK because that AWP can't find the angle. Thankfully, they found the kills, the ensuing kills, but Sick has the bomb. karrigan has to wrap around to drop him. Again, it's sloppy.
For a moment now, I thought TSM had done enough. The 5-man stack comes in. It's not like Astralis are showing anything at the beginning of these rounds. This is a serious problem for them, their T sides. Like I said, a lot of defaults. You need to be pushing the CDs back, taking the vision away, but TSM does have enough information apparently to stack all 5 players towards that A site. Got very uncomfortable. It wasn't for Device having an AK on the floor right next to him. That could have slipped away. He had the AWP in his hand, a very close range procedure, but managed to stay alive here. 14-12. And right down to the wire here. Round number 27, we do see money go back in favour of TSM. They have the AWP towards SEMPHIS as well, so we have a fast break. Kjærbye sure to get this first kill. There it is. Takes down Twistzz, and wasting no time as he makes his way towards the gangster as well. Could get the double, but FNS answers back.
Yeah, well picked up on the trade for TSM, but Xyp9x has committed onto this drop position. They know he's here. He alone, though, is holding a lot of presence from the CT side over toward that B position, because now they're rotating back toward A. They have started to rotate back toward that doorway, but smoke's already out for Astralis. It's going to allow them to cross. It's really just automatic. They have to confront below the balcony. And again, he's committed inside of the site. He's not on the balcony itself. But an excellent response, it has to be said, by FNS. They still know where Xyp9x is. Bomb down. And SEMPHIS surely hasn't overlooked this. Yeah, there it is. Peeks doesn't get the kill, but they know exactly where he's at.
Yeah, well,
this should be map point for TSM.
You say it should be. Anything can happen, especially Xyp9x, one of the best clutches in the game. Has a minute to play with, and 2 TSM players to find as well. Let's see what he can do with this one.
Well, does spot up FNS, waited it out accordingly. Down to the one-on-one. Sick's gonna try and force the issue, nails the headshot. As FNS, you said it, one of the best clutch players in the game. Did get the information required and nearly did pull that back, but TSM 15 now.
Do you see how well he can read those situations as well? He knew exactly where the CD player was coming from. Unfortunately, not able to land the shot this time, and like you said, TSM do go to match point here. I felt like that was a little bit of an overcommit from SEMPHIS, considering he had the AWP. That was such a high-risk move and got them down to this 1v1 situation, but still, can't argue with the results, man. 15-12. Who would have thought it? One of the world's best teams, Astralis, potentially about to lose to someone who's not even ranked in the top 20 right now. Final round potentially is going to be for Tech9, the UMP and Device. They will be going all in towards the B site. CT's definitely struggling for cash as well, so still a chance.
FNS again is going to try and get toward this archway. This time I think they've heard him.
I think they have.
They have looked this a number of times. You're right. karrigan's not even considering it. He went right by them inside of the smoke. He ran as well and just timed it so well with the sound triggers. He gets in there, and SEMPHIS is here to support, as they have a nice lead to work with, although that's been swung back just slow slightly. Although HP guns all favoring. Bomb down, though, is the problem, because Sick's going to come back over, AK-47 in hand. It's UMP on Device with 91, Xyp9x on 22. With the Tech9, they have to go to commit to this. They have to go to get that bomb, and they know it's there. They would have saw it before they lost SEMPHIS.
Here we go then. It's up to Device to try and get this first frag, but he goes down to 3 HP here. The CT's realised it as well. There is a refrag, but there it is. TSM in the opening game of Group B actually take down the Titans in form of Astralis. What a result that is for them.
Incredible result, and it just goes to showcase how much of an improvement this team has really had. Remember, this was the team that we casted a lot early on in the ECS regular season that was playing with stand-ins and couldn't really get things rolling. It wasn't quite as bad as some of the other teams we did see that had a similar issue in North America, but Dan kind of summed up in his little video, the narrated video, that they were a puggy style that didn't have any format, they didn't have any structure, and the last 2 weeks for them has been incredible.
Do we feel like this is the sort of tournament when we've got potentially $3.5 million available throughout the 2 seasons? Is this the time you actually experiment with map rotations? Do you want to be going in with something like Cobble over Astralis? I felt like this was a bad move in their half. It's a best of one. You get to veto everything. You can potentially play on map. They've got a huge map pool. I feel like this was a bad play.
Well, and the issue with it is obviously there's not a lot of downtime where you can execute and practice on your own.
Yeah.
So surely they've been taking advantage of some of that time to come up with some sort of a plan. But even a plan doesn't work until you figure out what's wrong with it. In order to figure out what's wrong with it, you do have to discriminate and play it.
Yeah.
The problem is, and coming into the major, that's the intention, that they want to have a strengthened and solidified map pool for the major, having lost Inferno. The problem is that now it's not like you're throwing away dummies on lower events that don't matter. All of the events have such a big prize pool that it's gonna cost you, no matter what. It's inevitable that if you practice a map live, it's going to cost you.
It always seems with Astralis, though, even in these big tournaments, it's either they mess up the group stages or it's towards the semis. So hopefully they can bounce back from this. Obviously one of the favorites here. Astralis is such a huge name in Counter-Strike right now, but for me, that was just a poor decision in the veto. There were so many different options to go with. But I think now we're going to throw it over to an interview. So guys, please take it away to what I'm guessing are some very excited winners.
Yes, I'm a very excited winner. Thank you very much, Henry G. Woo! TSM! No, I can't do it. Interview will come afterwards, by the way. So again, an upset.
Well, I think Janko got the practice part a little wrong. I think the way Astralis thought of it is they wanted to go practice more through the lower bracket of the group and ensure playing more games and some best of 3. So I think that's really the way they are going about getting more practice.
Honestly, at this point, I just want Cloud9 to beat Fnatic so that we have Fnatic Astralis in the lower bracket, because it's what happens to Astralis every time. Every time they, the way they drop out of the group stages is they lose the game, but it's also the other favorite loses their game as well. So they have to fight, instead of playing that team for, in the winner's bracket, they have to play them in the loser's bracket for survival in the tournament.
Yeah. Again, and what jumped out to me is often, we talk about tactical pauses being used, and obviously being used really well here, that the Astralis calls a timeout, second side is T, and then they win 3 straight rounds afterwards. So it worked perfectly. Then there's a technical issue with one of the PCs, and that's a long pause. And normally that would sometimes affect either team. Either it hurts your momentum or it helps your momentum, or it helps you sit down and obviously it worked for TSM. They came out of that and then won every round but 1, right? So, or 2. So how do you, and I'm gonna go to both you guys, because you are pro players, or ex-pro players in your own right, different games, different generations, so to speak. But
different success.
Yeah, different successes. Tommy far more than you. But
of course.
How did you guys deal with that kind of stuff? Like, especially you, Tommy, in-game leader. Like, how did you deal with when you were up and you got paused, or when you were down and you got paused? Like, what went through you guys' heads?
Well, I mean, it always depends on how your teammates take it, because that's how you have to play it. If you have teammates that don't get bothered by it, then you don't even mention it, because you know how you're supposed to think about it. But with some people, you sort of have to make the case that, when you're losing, the pause is actually good for you. So even though it might make you more frustrated that you're losing and then you're having computer issues and it feels like everything's compounding, going the wrong way, it's actually good for you. It's, sort of breaks the momentum, gives you gives you a chance to think about things, think things through. At the same time, if you're on the other end and you get a pause, then you just sort of make the case that it's like just like a momentum stopper.
Gotcha. So it goes either way.
But I mean, it goes the way you want it to go, right? I mean, you can't help. Some people can't help how they feel. Some people are going to be bothered by it, but it's something you really shouldn't get bothered by. But I will say that technical pause really couldn't have come at a better time for TSM.
Yeah, that's like perfect. So you have some stuff you want to talk about? A couple rounds?
Yeah, it was actually the round where both me and Tommy thought that the dream is dead for TSM, because it's always what happens in these underdog games is that they have a good start, they have a couple of good rounds, things are going well for them, and then they lose an easy round, so to speak. Yeah. This was an anti-eco round, and initially they played it really well when you look at it. And I was, watching it in the green. I was like, yeah, this is great. The smokes are there. They're not trying to, push by themselves through the smokes. They're holding, waiting for Astralis to approach them. But what happened is that they gave they gave too much control to Astralis. And now we can play the replay, so you guys can see it back home. And this is the standard smoke execute. Astralis here only has pistols, mostly Tech 9s, and you can see that the TSM players are, just holding, waiting for Astralis to push. But the problem is this, okay, they don't have platform control, they don't have anyone in chicken coop, so they gave up control of the site. But you can also see here, they gave up control of drop as well. And they will have 4 players here. They're all funneled around this rock area, and that's just too much control to give. And then when they realize this, they just try to push by themselves individually. No team play, no flashing inside drop. Okay, there wasn't anyone who made the call. Guys, we gave up too much control. Let's try and retake drop. I'll flash you in, you know, depending on who's standing where. And it was really messy after that. They lose, I think, almost all of their players, or maybe they saved 1 gun, and that's where I thought, okay, this is where Astralis comes back. Their economy is going, you know, it also has a psychological effect on TSM, but they proved me wrong. They managed to bounce back after it.
All right, and our Jason Bourne MVP of the match is none other than FNX. On the losing team says even more, that he still gets the Jason Bourne. And again, Jason Bourne in theaters.
Except they won.
Oh, I guess, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was thinking for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a different team anyway. Again, that is in theaters. Here's some highlights to you, but also, obviously, you can see the new Jason Bourne movie comes out 29th of July.
Can't wait for that one.
I like
those
movies.
It's going to be a barn burner.
Yeah, it is. You're not supposed to use it. I'm supposed to save that one for an actual match. Those are good movies, though. I've always enjoyed the Jason Bourne movies.
Except
the one that he wasn't in, that Matt Damon wasn't in. So, yeah, glad to see him back.
It was a good performance from, I think, the whole team. You know, different
I thought
players.
You were talking about Jason Bourne, the actor. I'm like, what?
Matt Damon, great performance, Oscar-winning performance. But yeah, I believe it was a team effort. I think early on in the first half that SICK had a couple of great rounds, especially that 1v3 that we saw, and yeah, I think that it was a team effort.
And SICK really bailed them out in the very last round. I'm not sure if you noticed while you were walking over, but SEMPHIS made a very dumb play in the 3v1 situation, peeking drop window with an op, got killed, then his teammate got killed. And for a second, it actually looked like Xyp9x was going to get the 3rd kill, too, because he was waiting with the angle perfectly. But, I mean, SICK just played well. He had a lot of good shots. Surprisingly, was much better than Twistzz, had a much more impactful game.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Obviously, we're going to wrap it up for this section. We're not done for the day. We got a couple more matches. Smix has got the Jason Bourne MVP with her. FNS and Smix. Take it away.
Thank you, Scott. That is correct. I do have FNS with here right now. So first of all, congratulations. I think a lot of people, when they looked at this matchup, they didn't think that the outcome would come out the way it did. However, you guys are obviously the ones that came out on top. So just wondering, prior to the match, did you guys do a lot of studying at all, especially that map that Astralis had on NIP when it was really close on this particular map?
So going into the game, we thought it was going to be Mirage, Train, or Cash. That's what we thought it would end up at, and it didn't. It kind of ended up on Cobble, which we are obviously we felt like we were really good on, so we were like, okay, it's fine, it's not a big deal, but we didn't do as much preparation on it, but SEMPHIS did, and he knew how they played anti-ecos as CTs and stuff, and we kind of focused more on their CT side as far as anti-ing went. We never changed too much on our T side, and as far as our CT went, we kind of just hoped that we didn't get ecoed too much, which we did, but we closed it out, luckily.
But speaking of ecos, when I just spoke with you prior to this interview, you said that it seems to be a sort of TSM tradition to get ecoed in order to win. Can you explain how that works? Oh,
just to lose, actually, not to win. We just lose every time we get ecoed, so it's kind of bad when we got ecoed, because it's kind of like we lost momentum because of it, but luckily we had that technical pause, and that we kind of used that as a attack pause and talked about it a little bit. Changed our setup up and kind of decided to fight more at upper B instead of kind of letting them throw smokes everywhere and let them have the site. And that change helped us a lot to close it out.
Well, on the other side of the group, we have C9 and Fnatic. They're getting ready to play up next. C9, obviously a team that you're very familiar with. Both really good teams. What are your thoughts on that particular matchup?
I honestly think C9 will probably give them a run for their money, probably get a map. Actually, it's BO1, right? Yes, so I think C9 could probably win that. I feel like they might. Fnatic usually in BO1s don't go as crazy, don't go as hard, and if the map veto doesn't go their way, they could easily lose. But I think C9 will win, honestly.
And just taking a step back and looking at TSM in this tournament in general, I think a lot of people, when they looked at the 8 teams that we have here, they were very quick to write TSM out. That being said, with this result here, we see that, okay, maybe that's not the case. So what are your personal thoughts on where your team stands?
Honestly, I can't blame anybody for writing us off. I mean, we were 1-8 in E-League just before, so it's not like we did anything crazy to prepare for this event. We had 3 days, so We're basically the same team we were at E-League. It's just a matter of whether we could fix those ecos, not get ecoed as much, fix our post plants and stuff like that. And luckily, in this game, we were able to maintain like winning those types of rounds, and like we had a really close 1v1s and stuff like that. And we actually, I think, managed to eco them, but we got ecoed back, which sucks. But I think overall we won more important rounds than they did, luckily, yeah. So.
All right, well, thank you very much, FNS. We'll see how this group turns out. Of course, our next match coming up will be the second match of Group B. It'll be Cloud9 versus Fnatic coming up after this short commercial break.
Do you play Counter-Strike?